Tap In with your boy Paul Pierce, Antoine Walker, tapping in. A new day, a new week here in the league, and we got some great things to talk about, some interesting things. We're gonna start off. We're gonna keep it. A lot has been said about Kyrie, and he's going through a 5-game suspension. But what I want to really focus on is the things that he has to do for them to reinstate him. Let me just go over, you know, some of the things that they want him to do in order for him to come back to good graces. For one, he has to apologize and condemn the film he promoted. I think he issued an apology. He has to make a $500,000 donation to anti-hate causes, complete sensitivity training, Semitism training. I mean, meet with
Hmm.
ADL and Jewish leaders, and meet with team owner Josiah and demonstrate an understanding of the situation. I mean, I think that's just kind of too much. I mean, just to keep it all honest, I mean, he understood that he made a mistake. He apologized for it, but now that the ringer they want him to do to come back to play ball, I just don't agree with it. Um, we all know that Kyrie is not a hateful person. He's not anti-Semitic. You've heard a number of his friends come out and say and vouch for him. I just don't agree with the process he has to go through to get back on the court. And so, in saying that, what do you think about all that, man? What's up with that?
Well, I think it's terrible. I think he shouldn't have to do all this. I think first of all, we got to look at the 5 game suspension without pay. That's strong enough right there when you
That's
suspend a
right.
guy, especially without pay. So I look at these things, the things that you kind of named off. I think he's apologized. So I think obviously he's done that part of it. But I don't think it's 3 things on here that I think he shouldn't have to do. I think obviously make a $500,000 donation. I don't think he should have to do that because he's losing 5 games of pay. I'm not sure. I haven't got that number of what how much that is, but I'm pretty sure it's north of 500,000. So that's one thing. The complete sensitivity training and the anti-Semitic training. I don't think he has to should have to do that. Um, I think if you guys if they want him to meet with the ADL and Jewish leaders, I think that's fine. So Kyrie can stay his point that obviously that's not the person that he is, and then obviously he has to meet with the owner. I mean, we can't avoid that, and
Yeah,
meeting with the
yeah, of
owner
course.
and having a conversation with the owner. But I think 3 of these things are too much. He's serving this. He's on the 4th game now. He has 1 game left on a 5 game suspension without pay. I think that's enough. I think to put all these things, and I think the Players Association now has to step in and make sure that he doesn't have to carry out all these things to get back on the basketball court. I think the apology is strong enough. Missing 5 games without pay, I think you hit his pocket strong enough with that. And obviously, meet with the team owner. It can always be good. Get clear the air with the team owner, and if they feel like it's that necessary, he can meet with the ADL and the Jewish leaders if they feel like that's that necessary for him to do. But this is definitely too much, and hopefully, um, he doesn't have to do all these things.
I mean, you know what? I'm thinking about all this, and we talking about the Kyrie situation. It's like, man, where do the Nets even go from here? How do KD feel about this whole
Mhm.
situation? It's like he came to Brooklyn with uh, thinking like, okay, I'm gonna play for a contender. I got Kyrie. They putting the team around us, and it's just like, is this at the point? Are we at the point now that we're like, it's time for the Nets to kind of blow it up, or is it time for them to start seeking trades for KD? They just hired Jock Vaughn. They took him off the interim coach. Is he the guy for the job and moving forward, or is this something you say, hey, this ain't gonna work? I think we should explore trades for KD again. He already didn't want to be there before the season started, and now all of this stuff is going on. I just don't know where the Nets go.
I think if you really watched over last week, they've won 3 out of 4. They're 5-7
Hmm.
now, so they're back in the thick of things on the court.
But
I
I'm
think you
saying
bring,
they supposed to be
but
a contender.
I know, but I think you
They
bring
like,
Kyrie Irving back. I think you bring him back. You make this about basketball. You tell Kyrie, listen, we don't, and I'm serious, P. You got to make a stance with him. If I'm the owner,
Ben
like, listen,
Simmons
let's
is
keep.
in and out of the lineup.
Like, I'm like, listen, we're gonna keep this about basketball. We need
Hmm.
everything to be strictly about basketball. The next outburst, the next situation that happens that takes us off the court that we have to deal with, we got to waive him. I mean, he's in the last year of his deal. You know what I'm saying? They just saved 5 paychecks of money. I mean, I know he's making 37, 38 million, something like that, but you got to waive him, and then you got to go into the summer and figure out what you want to do as far as building the team. But this year, you just bring him back, and you see if he want to focus in on basketball. You're gonna see how much Kyrie loves the game. We know if they ever get it right, they could be one. They could be a contender. But I think just because they started to play good ball right now, it's so tough to do it now. When you get into the season, you know that, P, to make
I mean,
household
dude,
changes.
you know what's so crazy? It's already rumors out there that they said Kyrie might have already played his last game for the Nets. Like, is he? I mean, and then saying that, like, what does
Mm.
that mean? Like, is he gonna fulfill his requirements? Is it like, do they even want to bring him back? I mean, the talent is there, but like, I don't know, man. It's just hot. Like, say they bring him back, he ball.
But we don't know what relationship he got with Jock. What if Jock has got his ear? What if Jock got a little bit better? You know what I'm saying? You know, maybe
If
Jock
he
has been
didn't,
there
if he
since
didn't respect,
2016 though.
if he didn't respect Steve Nash, how you gonna respect Jock Vaughn? I mean, you act like Jock Vaughn wasn't on the sideline already. You know how sometimes players build that relationship with that assistant, and that keep them going. You know, even though
Yeah.
they probably had problems with the head coach, Jock was already there. So if he disrespected Steve Nash, then I really don't see the respect level there that's gonna be there for Jock Vaughn.
Well, Judgment Day coming. He
So,
only got he got one game left. Judgment Day is
mm,
coming. He's supposed to rejoin the team. It'll be interesting to see. And I mean, he should be fine. In the 5 games I was
yeah,
looking at it, he missed 12 days. So
yeah,
it ain't the end of the world. Hopefully he can get back on the court. Like I said, they playing good basketball. We know KD love to hoop, and now KD look like he got it rolling. You know, what I mean, if you watch the Nets and been watching the last couple of games, they playing with a little bit more energy, a little bit more spirit. Steph Curry back, so you got another guy who can make shots. He's back.
Steph Curry,
Joe
yeah,
Harris has started. Yeah, Steph Curry started to make shots. So they got their guys back. Like you said, they talented enough to be in the
yeah.
mix. So it'll be interesting to see if KD be like, look, let's see if we can do it.
Yeah, I hate to see, these type of things go on with my NBA brothers. You only hope to wish the best for Kyrie. Hopefully he can get back on the court, do what he need to
Hmm.
do, and turn and right the ship. I mean, that's all you can ask for. I mean, tremendous talent. We all know that. So hopefully, we all go through some adversity, and I just feel like, this is a bump in the road for him. Hopefully he can bounce back.
Yeah, and it's to add to it, just to go as you talk about the guys in the league. I just hope the guys in the league, and it's funny, as being ex players and you have a social media following, and we got these platforms where we can speak on freely and do what we want to do. I just hope other guys in the league understand that just be cautious of when you sometimes sitting up at night messing around and think like you feel free to say what you want to say. I mean, it's just tough now. These teams and organizations, run a tightrope. They're doing everything, they want everything kind of ran by the books, and hopefully that other guys
Yeah.
take heed of that and don't use that platform to put themselves in trouble.
Well, hopefully things will turn around for Kyrie Irving pretty soon. But another thing, let's talk Lakers, man. I can't never go a day without talking Lakes, dude. And the crazy thing is, and the reason we talk about Kyrie, KD, and Lakers and LeBron, these
Mhm.
are the guys who I consider the faces of the league. These are the guys who you put the expectations on each and every year. Lakers have been nothing short of disappointing.
Mhm.
Another L this week to the Clippers. Um, and quiet as kept, man. What you do now if you the Lakers? You look up, you 2-10. I don't see a turnaround anytime soon. Do you trade Anthony Davis? I mean, they already couldn't find a trade for Russ, so now it's like, does he still have max value out there? If Rudy Gobert, he got some pieces back. Do you look to explore Anthony Davis now and try to right the ship? I mean, what is it? What do the Lakers do?
I think, and this is the first time I ever said this because I was always in the belief that they'll figure it out. Anthony Davis will return. He's from Chicago. I thought he'd have this mindset. This is my bounce back year. I thought he'll be up there challenging for MVP. And he all really, I mean, the numbers are solid, but he's also to me now he
20
out
and
to not
10?
out to the start that we need. Yeah, but P, it's a difference between 20 and 10 and 25 and 10. It's a big difference in
Hmm.
that. And I think he's going stretches in games where he's not the main focal point on the offensive end. But this is the one thing I want to say is if I look at the Lakers team and I look at other team situations that have blown up their team and rebuilt, the Lakers don't have any young pieces. I can't look at their roster and say, man, they got two good young players to build around or it's going to be around a long time. You see Lonnie Walker and some of these other guys that are playing okay, but they don't really have nobody to build around. And LeBron's at the end. Russ is in the last year of his deal with not a lot of value. So you got to
What's
go to
what's
Anthony
what's
Davis.
Anthony Davis's contract situation? Where is he at? Let me see. How many
So he
years?
got 3 years. He
Look,
still
he
got three
got
years. He's only in the second year. He's only in the second year of that deal. He's in third. He got 3 years left.
man. What about an 80 for KD? You doing that?
Nah, if I'm gonna trade a no, if I'm gonna trade AD, I want a young star, and I want to be able to get some picks. I want a first round pick.
But you got
I want to be able
LeBron.
to.
You don't rebuild when you got LeBron, don't right? You
Well,
don't
well,
rebuild with
well,
LeBron.
no. Well, when you call LeBron, you say LeBron, your role as a professional athlete, as a we done the championship chase. We got to rebuild. You can help us be a
So
leader and be a
so
part of this
so do you
rebuilding
trade?
process.
Do you try to trade LeBron?
If you had that conversation with him, if LeBron's
You
willing to
got
play with some young
ooh
guys, and if listen, LeBron, we got to be honest, LeBron is chasing something that's very special that we may not ever see happen again. You know what I mean? So he
mm,
chasing Kareem. He's going to get there, God willing, if he stays healthy. And if he does it in a Laker uniform, that's pretty much it. What you can get. Let's be honest, they're not in championship contention. We worry about the Lakers making the
yeah
play-in situation right now. So if I'm Rob Pelinka, I'm Jenny Buss, I'm going to LeBron and saying, look, are you willing to play with with some young guys, help us develop these guys and finish your career here? And if that's something you don't want to do and you want to challenge for a championship, tell us what team you
right.
want to go play for. And I think that's a fair conversation, an honest conversation. They gave
Ooh
they gave him the contract extension. You gave him so you took care of him financially. You made sure he got a
mm,
couple extra years, some more money. So it's not like that. So you got to go ahead. I think it's time. If you look at all these young
ooh.
teams that's rebuilding, you got to do it through the draft. You got to be able to get you some picks. And the Lakers have 27
Lakers
and
don't have no pick.
29. They
They
so
don't got
far
no
down the
picks.
line. So if I'm gonna give up
They
Anthony
don't got no
Davis,
picks.
I want me a young guy. I want me a young, and I don't got to go position for position.
Right.
I want me a young star. I want me a young star, and I want to try to build around him.
Ooh.
If I can get two good players, and I'll start looking around the league. I mean, you start looking around, you don't know who can be on the table. You
Hmm.
don't know who want Anthony Davis. Some of these contender teams that may feel like they right there, and Anthony Davis can get them over the top. They may be willing to part ways with one of your young
Hmm.
players to get an
Hmm.
AD. I think it's time because you're looking at listen,
Oh,
P. Let's think about this. The Western Conference is only getting better. You got the
right.
Utah Jazz at 10 and
I'm
3.
trying to think
They
where you
supposed to
can
have
send him though. Damn, I'm trying to. Is there a destination for him though? What sound right? Try to get him to
been.
Charlotte. Oh, I mean, do they got some young
Yeah, I
pieces?
mean,
Like
I mean, you never know. What about you?
it's
You never know.
it's such a thin line because if you trade Anthony Davis for some young pieces and LeBron, like, look, I'm still trying to win a championship. That's unless
I
like you
mean, but
said,
all right,
LeBron saying
but
like, look,
right.
I'm gonna be like, all right, championship ain't on my mind no more.
P, you
LeBron is
from
chasing
LA.
Kareem.
You from LA. You grew up a Laker fan. You know this.
Hmm.
What is the Lakers fan base going to accept? Be honest. Are they going to accept another losing season? You talking about they won 33 games last year. They may not win 30 this year.
Mm, mm,
This is you got to think about that. You got to send your fans on something. Usually, a lot of
mm.
times you can sell your fans that we letting these young guys develop. You got a bunch of picks. Think about Utah Jazz right now. They in the best position of anybody. They know they can win with the
Mm.
talent they got right now. They're showing that. I know it's
Well, I
early,
think
but they showing they can be competitive.
that's they only out. I think trading because you got to keep LeBron. You got to keep the seats filled. The stars is coming out for LeBron. I think the only option is to trade
Okay.
Anthony Davis, but
You
we'll
trade that.
see.
You put Anthony and Russ in the trade package. Russ come off the books. A lot of teams
Let's
like the
see.
fact that he come off the books. That number come off the
Mm,
books. I mean, you can look around. You know what I mean? I don't know. We can
Hmm.
find some of these teams that's kind of like midway. That's very hard for them to attract a big time free agent. You may have to go back to Indiana. Indiana may be on the verge of that. They
Yeah.
got some pieces around. Indiana, one of those teams. I like the fact you said Charlotte. Charlotte's had a really tough time getting a superstar over there. But you
Hmm.
can't give
You
up
could throw
ball.
some
When
young
you think about
pieces.
Charlotte, they got some young talent and they may got some. So
Hmm.
you got to look at those type of situations.
Right.
It's probably
Right.
about 4 or 5 teams. If we sit here and study it, it's about four or
Yeah.
five teams that probably make sense. But
Yeah.
that's the move right now if I'm the Lakers. I mean, I had that talk with LeBron and figure out what LeBron wants to do. If LeBron is willing
Right.
to play with some young guys and just finish his career out playing basketball, being a leader,
Yeah.
helping guys develop and become good players, then you ride it out. Like you say, you got to fill those seats. That is LA. LeBron still, and it might be a new challenge for LeBron. What if LeBron embraces the fact playing with a young team and young guys and trying to help them win?
Well, we all know LeBron has nothing left to prove. His legacy has already been cemented. He's just throwing
Yeah,
icing on the cake now, and so we'll wait and see. But that's interesting story right there. But moving on
yes,
from Laker talk, Anthony Davis, man, I've been looking at the league, man. Cat's been putting up numbers, and I'm like, man, Luka
yeah.
Doncic, Giannis, who right now? Give me your top five MVP candidates right now, because there's a lot of cats out here balling.
Right now, I'm going. I like Giannis one.
Give me in
Um,
order, in order.
I'm going. I'm going to. I like Giannis number one. Giannis is my first pick. Um, I got Luca two.
He been, he
This
been, man, that dude
this
is
may
a
this may
problem.
surprise you. This may surprise you. But three,
Ooh,
I got Donovan Mitchell. I
ooh,
got Donovan. I got Donovan
I can't.
Mitchell I got Donovan Mitchell at three.
You
Yeah,
got him
at
at
four,
three.
I got him at three. At four, I got Jason Tatum.
Okay, Jay
I
Tatum.
got I got Jason Tatum at four. And then five, I got Ja Morant. I mean, I got Ja right now at five. But that's my top five right now. After
Oh,
13,
okay.
after 12, 12, 13 games to the season,
Well, that's not a bad
I that
list.
I like that.
All right, I got
that's
my
my
order.
five.
All right, my five right here. I got Giannis for sure. I mean, for the simple fact they got the best record. We already know he'll walk in
Yeah,
35 and 14. Luca,
right.
he's been dominating. So we agree at the top
Yeah.
two. But my third, I gotta put. Ooh, I'm gonna throw Jason Tatum at three. He
That's
been
cool.
he
That's good.
been.
He
I
rolling,
mean, no,
killing.
no. Yeah, he had three. My four gonna surprise you though, and my four is Steph Curry. I know they ain't
You
been
still
winning, but
you,
dude, Steph Curry,
but it's too many.
32,
It's too
seven
many winning teams
rebounds.
right now. He got to get back on the winning
He,
side. It's too many winning teams right now with players playing good too.
but you not. I don't care what Golden State record is right now. You not counting them out.
Oh no, no, no! Of course not.
So
No.
I mean, even though they record ain't really saying who
Yeah.
they the champs, I ain't counting them
Okay.
out. All right. So
Okay. Go ahead.
I
Who
believe
next?
they gonna turn it around. Shit, shoot, you been on teams where they good
No.
enough to coast.
Yeah.
Like it's teams that you worry about with their record this early, but the Golden State Warriors ain't one of them. Cause they can go to another level. They proven. Steph is proven. So he gonna continue to put up them numbers. Their record gonna get better. I'm not even think about this. Like when you look at Sacramento Kings, you like, oh, another year they not gonna be that good because they what 3-5 or four and
Mhm.
six. We looking at Golden State 4 and 6, like, oh, we ain't worried about them. They gonna be all right. You know what I'm saying?
they,
And
they
so my
they get they
fifth,
get going.
they gonna get going. My fifth, I'm gonna throw Donovan Mitchell in there. I gotta give him some credit. I don't think he
Okay.
get enough
Right.
credit. He's
Yeah.
dominating his
He
team. His team is Cleveland is balling. They one of the top two teams in the Eastern Conference, and they look like they're going to be a contender. I didn't see that coming before the season started. I thought they'd be a really good young team, but they looking like they're going to be a contender. So that was my five right there.
So we
Yeah, I
pretty
got to
much the
give them
same.
some love.
Just flip
Yeah,
flop a
we
little
got to
bit.
we just flipped them, but I threw Steph Curry in there because I gotta throw one. Think about this: out of all the guys we said all young guys. Like I could have easily threw Drama
Right.
Ran in there, yeah, but that goes to show you
Mm.
that the league is turning over. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like the newer generation is taking over the league now. And the only OG I got in there is Steph. All the rest of these guys is what, 26 and under? 20, yeah,
Yeah.
26 and under. So now think about it. We got a top five lister where we don't have no LeBron, no KD. Like, man, I just
Yeah.
show you that the league, we entering a new generation of players that's really making their mark on the game. So, but I gotta give some respect to Steph, Finals MVP. He's off to a great start. They not winning, but it ain't his fault. It ain't nothing he ain't
No,
doing.
not
So
at all.
yeah, so shout out to him. Moving on, man. Couple more things we need to tap into. Who's been the most like teams that like you just like, man, they disappointed me this year. They like I can't believe they even came out like this. What teams? Give me some teams that's like your biggest disappointments to start the season.
I mean, one obviously is the Lakers. I mean, I ain't
Definitely
gonna
the Lakers.
lie.
We talked about
Yeah,
them.
yeah, we talked about them. I thought the Lakers would be a lot better. So I'm disappointed in them. And then we just talked about it, man. And you said don't worry about it, but Golden State to me.
They
I
disappointed, but
mean,
you ain't worried
they.
about them.
I'm not worried about them, but I'm disappointed. I thought they'd come out the gates, stronger than that. I'm starting to worry about it. We'll see if that little fight in the beginning of the year it's caused a little tension in the locker room. It's messed up some of
Hmm.
their team flow. That's kind of been a little disappointing to me to watch them. I thought they had come out, kind of like guns blazing a little bit. So I'm a little disappointed in them and their process. And then really everybody else is kind of like been, average to me. Has been okay. Well, you can't really get on them because they could, kind of save themselves. Like I think about Brooklyn. Like will be on here killing Brooklyn, but they didn't won 3 out of 4. You know what I mean? They didn't
Mm-hmm.
kind of got themselves back in the mix. They were disappointed in a minute, but now as they start to win more games, you started like, okay, they cool, they all right. I probably think, and if I had to pick another team, it'd probably be the Miami Heat.
That's what I was
You know
gonna
what I
say.
mean? Yeah. It's been probably the Miami Heat. It's probably should be on the top of that chopping block. Disappointing in them, bringing back pretty much the same team. I felt like they were going to have problems because they didn't do nothing in the offseason as far as add any pieces to their team. Um, so I thought they were going to have some problems, but I thought their system, their style of play, the way they play was going to kind of hold up. But I don't know. It's going to be tough for them. They might be in a play-in type situation. They don't look like that same dominant Heat team. And me, you talked about this before. What is
Yeah,
Bam going to do?
yeah. They.
Is he? You know what I mean? What is he going to do?
I
So
mean
that
Miami,
that's
because
my
I
that's
hold
my
Miami.
that's my first team.
Yeah, I mean I
Yeah,
hold Miami too at a high standard. They got coaching, they got leadership, they got the talent, and so when they coming out with the record they have to start the season, before the season I said they're gonna be a top seed in the Eastern Conference, top four. I had Celtics, a couple other teams, but Miami was in there. But for me, disappointing right now gotta be 76ers is up there. I mean, I know they dealing
right.
with injuries right now. You got an MVP
I agree
candidate
with
in
you on
Joel
that.
Embiid. James Harden is going to be out for the month, but they didn't impress me at the start of the season. Just watching them, they flow on offense. They've been up and down, but I expected them to come out a little bit better. Of course, we talked about Miami Heat. Of course, the Lakers. We don't need to keep talking about them, but those are a few of the teams. And another team that's been disappointing to me, Minnesota Timberwolves.
Mm,
I feel like they went all in. They got Rudy Gobert, gave up all kind of picks. They just made the playoffs last year. I thought they'll be better defensively. I thought they'll be better offensively. But what's going on in Minnesota though? The young
yeah,
kid Anthony Edwards. I mean, he's been consistent. You got Carl Towns, but what's up with them? Why they
I'm gonna
can't?
be honest.
What's up with them? They
I'm gonna
got one
be
of the
honest
worst
with you.
offensive
It's just
teams.
the style of basketball now. P. When me and you played, you could have 2 7-footers on the floor probably and get away with it. I just think you can't play with 2 7-footers on the floor, and then you know because you get mismatched, too many mismatches on both ends of the floor. I mean, it looks good sometimes when Rudy Gobert gives you a 15-15, or even a 20-20. But he's such a offensive liability that he hurts them. He clogs the middle up, so he takes away from a young guy like Anthony Edwards, a guy who got great one-on-one skills, who like to get to the basket and do something, put it on the floor. You take away from
Yeah.
that. Pick and rolls, you can't really put him in a pick and roll because you don't have to guard him in a pick and roll. So it's like if you watch them play, it's kind of bad. That Karl Anthony Towns has fell in love with the 3-point shot, so it's taken away from a lot of his aggressiveness, and it's clogged up down there.
Hmm.
So he really don't even have really a good chance to post up. So I just think that's where it's at. I think they're going to be a 500 team. For the most, I think they do make the playoffs, but do they make any noise or make a real deep run in the playoffs? No, I just think 2 7-footers not going to work.
All right, I'm gonna tell you what I think it is. I think the talent is there. They lack one thing. They don't got no leadership. Think about the times they've been to the playoffs. Who was their leader? Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
Think about that. They had Jimmy Butler. Then last year, who was their point guard last year?
Pat Beverly. Yeah.
Patrick Beverly. They leader. They lacking leadership. He was their unquestioned leader. Sometimes that's all a team need. Somebody that's going to tell them what they need to do when they on the court or in practice. Somebody that's going to hold them accountable. I don't see nobody being held accountable on that team. And I think that's all they need. They got the talent. Carl Anthony Towns is an
Yeah. I mean,
all-star. Rudy Gobert, all-star. You got two
yeah.
all-stars out there. Edwards, is he a potential
Yeah.
all-star too?
I mean, when he
They
get
don't got
going,
no leadership.
when he get
No
going, he
leadership in that
pretty
locker
good.
room.
He pretty
It's just no
good.
leadership. Yeah, no leadership, man. So, well, we give them some time to try to work things out, but another team. Most disappointing, it's got to be, I'll say 76ers. But like I said,
It's,
I think we got a
yeah,
change
it's
in
one
the
two.
guard. But think
One,
about the
yeah,
teams who, year in and year out, we always talk about the Lakers, Golden State, um, just year in and year out that's been at the top. Now, like I said, it's a changing of the guard. We seeing teams like Memphis now, Atlanta, Denver. This is the new generation now. Dallas with their young stars. And we're just seeing a changing of the guard. We're in a transition. And the teams that we're used to talking about early in the season that's been at the top, like the Miami, like the Lakers, like the Golden State, they look like they declining, man. So the
yeah.
new generation, I think, is starting to Trey Youngs, the Luca. Oh man, I love watching all these young boys. The league is in good
I mean,
hands.
I mean, I want to give somebody some love, Pete, because we may not get to him, but I got to. After 12, 13 games, we got to give some love. I want to be the first to do it. It's Shea Gilchrist-Alexander, man. What he doing at OKC? He averaging 32 a game, putting
Is
in work. Oh yes,
he?
yes, and
Ooh,
they playing close to 500 basketball. And if
ooh.
I promise you, if you go on their roster, if you look at their roster, top to bottom, you wouldn't know five of their players. I
Mm-mm.
promise you, you wouldn't know five of their
Right,
players.
right,
You
right.
go on their roster top to bottom. They got great young talent there. They
They
compete,
do.
and I just
They
want to
do.
rewind this, and we just touched on this. That's who the Lakers need to be calling because they got some young pieces. They got a bunch of picks, and they're not going to get a big time free agent. We know they got Chet who's sitting out, but to imagine Anthony Davis, that's not a bad spot for Anthony Davis to go to and give
Ooh.
us some pieces because OKC can't really
They
get
got
no free
picks.
agents now, and
They
they
got
got
picks.
picks. You got to remember they one of the first originals to have the picks. They got picks for the next to 2029. They got the picks to make moves.
But you know this, Twine. You been in the league. You've been around guys. Don't nobody want to help the Lakers. You know that.
But I'm just
Don't
saying, you
nobody
got to think,
go.
Sam Presti's always had a superstar since he's ran that
Yeah.
organization. Shea Gilchrist-Alexander is an all-star. I believe he's an all-star in this league. Now you get if you can add an Anthony Davis to go alongside with him, you got to think Anthony Davis only 29, going to be 30. It just ain't worked with LA for whatever reason. It ain't working in LA right now. He might do
Hmm.
well with those young. You put him around that.
Yeah.
They got picks. They got a couple young guys they can give the Lakers. You know what I mean? So you got to think about that. Like
Shout
that's
out to
that's that's one of
Kendricks.
those moves. But look, man, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, we got to give him some love. He do not get talked about. They don't play on national
Hmm.
TV. Nobody talks about them because they've been rebuilding for the last couple years. But this dude is
Yeah.
the real deal. He paid like he a real deal. They gave him his contract, but he's the real deal.
Yeah, he definitely gonna be in the running for most improved. All right, how about this? Teams that are the most surprising teams this year that you like, man, they gonna be in the lottery, but you look up and they like, whoa, what's going on over here?
Oh, it's just two teams for me. I mean, just to make it simple, it's two teams. It's obviously it's the Portland Trailblazers and the Utah Jazz.
Yeah,
I mean, I ain't gonna even. It's just those two teams to me. I thought
yeah.
um, didn't really was going to have much going on with them. Kind of seemed like they were tanking to continue to build through the draft. We knew Dame obviously signed and was willing to stay, but we didn't put too much on what Portland was going to do. But to see them compete and win a couple games without him being in the lineup on the road, so happy for
Hmm.
Chauncey to be able to put a productive. I don't know. Obviously, it's early in the season. Can they keep it up and make themselves a playoff team? I mean, time will tell. And then Utah, man, I watch Utah. They exciting to watch, man. Larry Marketing is playing
Laurie marketing for
unbelievable.
MVP.
Uh, Laurie Marketing, I'm pronouncing it wrong. Yes,
Laurie
Laurie Marketing
marketing for
fan.
MVP.
Man, he playing so good. You know, they got Jordan Clarkson playing good. Then they got Colin Saxton, who we missed all last year. He coming off the bench doing his thing. I mean, they're an exciting group with a bunch of picks to come. So they're in a really good spot. I like and it's what we always talk about. They play a style of basketball that that's
Hmm.
conducive to what's going on in the league. They shoot the three from just about every position. Everybody on their team can shoot the three. They play fast. They average 115, 120 points a game. I mean, they're a
Hmm.
fun team. So those teams are two teams I thought didn't have anything going on for this upcoming season that are unbelievable.
All right, there you have it. That's a wrap for us on Tap In. Make sure you continue to follow us, Toine and Paul, on our YouTube channel, Branded Network.